Today on Ask This Old House, I'm going to take a crack at fixing this walkway.
So Ron, your team is going to be removing all of this mold on the underside of the roof. How are you going to do it?
Well, we're going to blast it off with this gun.
This looks like a pressure washer gun. So water or sand?
Actually, dry ice.
Dry ice. How's that work?
And we'll ask, what is it? That's next on Ask This Old House.
This is the house I grew up in. Out front, we have this big pine tree. And as you can see, it looks as though the root is growing right under the walkway and causing a crack. I'm really concerned somebody might trip over it. We really got to get this fixed.
All right, Paul, let's see what we got. If I put the level across this hump, this is heaved up almost 2 inches. Now, I agree with you. I think there's definitely a root from this tree growing underneath the walkway.
Is there anything we can do to fix it?
Well, it's an asphalt walkway, and it's in real good condition other than for this spot right here. So asphalt is fairly easy to patch, much easier than concrete would be. But the first thing we have to do is find out just how big that root is and get it out of there. The important thing is going to be to cut the root off clean. If you took a grub hoe or something and just ripped it off, it could rot, and that rot could end up getting back into the tree. But we're going to cut it off clean just like you would a branch, and it'll heal. Well, Paul, we were right. It's definitely this root that's causing the heaving of the walkway. Now, this root originates up at the flare of the tree, comes down underground, goes right underneath the walkway, then it travels out into the lawn looking for food and water to bring back to the tree. Now, if you look here, this is about a 3-inch diameter root. That's not a major root for a tree this size. If we cut it off clean, it'll heal properly, and this tree will be fine. So I'm just going to take my handsaw and start underneath.
How come you're cutting on the bottom?
Well, Paul, if I just cut from the top through, there's a chance when I finish that cut, I could rip the bark on the bottom. And I want to have a nice, clean cut. And by doing it this way, I will. Now, with that root cut on both sides, what I want to do is cut the asphalt right here. And we're going to cut it right here. That way we can dig that root out. So what I want you to do is take the chisel and the hammer, cut right across that line for me, and then across the other one.
I don't know, Roger. This doesn't seem to be cutting it.
Well, sometimes asphalt can be brittle, and a little hand chisel like that will make short work of it. But in this case, this is pretty tough. So I brought along a rotary hammer with a chisel blade on it, and I'm going to see if I can speed up the process a little bit.
Great.
Oh, grab that iron bar. Slide the end of it right under that piece. Okay, lift up. There you go. Keep going. Take that right out of there. There you go. Just get rid of it for now, all right? Keep it coming. They put the new walkway on top of the old walkway. That's fairly commonly done, but we'll have to get that out of there too.
Okay.
Paul, we're down through both layers of asphalt. We just got to clean up these little pieces that are left behind. And what we're going to do is we're going to dig down and expose this root so we can get it out. What I want to do is any of this good material, this gravel, just take and set it on the walkway because we're going to reuse that. All right, let's see if it'll come out. Look at that. All right, now what we need to do is start building up so we can get up to the level where we'll put in our asphalt. We have to compact all the soil as we do that. Usually I'd use this manual plate compactor where you just come in and you pack everything down. But this trench is so small that it would go at an angle and we wouldn't get the full compaction we wanted. So if you grab that sledgehammer behind you, and I'm going to grab mine, we're going to go right around this trench, making sure that everything's completely compact. Then we'll put a layer of gravel on top of that and keep building up. This is called pack. It's a mixture of stone and stone dust, and it will pack up hard as a rock. There we go. Keep packing that down. Now, we built up enough that the trench is wide enough. You should be able to take and use this hand compactor, and it'll make much quicker work of it. Paul, that looks pretty good. You've got it really compact, and the depth is just about where I want it for the new asphalt. The one thing I wanted to show you, see the edges where we chipped it out? They're really ragged, and it makes it hard for the new asphalt to attach to it and then get it fully compacted there. So what we need to do is we need to cut a nice straight edge. We're going to take the level, run it across. Now I'm holding it back because look here, there's a little rise right there and a definite flare right here. I want to cut those off so that when we put in a new asphalt, it's nice and level with the old. I'm just going to mark out that line. There's where I want to make my cut. In order to make that nice clean cut, I'm going to use this worm drive saw. It has a 7-inch diamond blade on it, and on the other side it has a water attachment where it'll allow me to feed water right down on the blade. That'll lubricate the blade and also keep it from getting too hot and make an easier cut going through the asphalt. So I got to put my safety equipment on. I'm ready to go to work. Not a bad cut there, huh?
Not bad at all.
Now let's see if we just take it easy with this. There it is coming up. Lift up a little bit. We'll slide it forward. There we go. Not bad. Take that end and get it right out of here. All right, Paul, I'm going to have you cut this side. All you want to do is hold the saw up and then work it down to get started and use this notch to line up on that as you go. Okay? Hearing protection on? Go ahead, start it, and I'll give you a little bit of water. Perfect. Now we have these nice clean edges, and they're going to act as a great spot for the new asphalt to push against so we can really get it compacted. But on this edge, we have nothing to hold the asphalt in, so it'll just spread out and we won't get good compaction. So what we're going to do is construct a temporary form. We're going to take this 2x6, pull that for me there. I'm just going to take some pieces of reinforcement rod and drive it down behind to hold it in place. That looks good. What we're going to use to fill this is called asphalt cold patch. And it's called that because you don't have to heat it up to use it. You can use it just as it is right out of the bucket. Now if you look, you'll see it's stone mixed with asphalt binders. It's great for potholes, large cracks, and it's going to be perfect for our application today. So you're going to just take that and dump it out right in there. I'll spread it out and then we'll compact it. Dump the whole thing out if you can. Great. Grab another one and I'll move that around. We need several inches of this material to build up the finished grade, but we're going to do it in 1-inch layers or lifts. So we'll put out 1 inch, spread it all around, and then take the tamper, pack it, and then go to the next layer. By filling it 1 inch at a time, we can get it fully compacted. All right, we're going to really take our time with this last lift. We want it to be about 1/2 inch above the finished course. Then we're going to compact it down and it should line up perfectly. So let's really get this graded off good. Now that it's fully compacted, you can walk across it.
Really?
I'm not kidding, go for it.
All right. Look at that.
Whoa.
That's great.
Now, what I want you to do is wait a couple of weeks and let this dry out and then seal coat the whole walkway. No one will ever know you put a patch in there.
Roger, I can't thank you enough for coming out.
Thanks, it turned out really well.
It did, thank you.
guys, here it is. It's plastic, it's black, and it has a door on the front.
Oh, yeah?
What is it?
I know exactly what it is.
You know?
Yeah, these things are great. I actually have one sitting right by my front door.
Yeah? What is it?
It's an electronic mailbox.
Oh, like for email?
No, for paper mail.
Oh,
All right? There's a knob right here. You can adjust the strength on it. So when the mailbox gets filled by the mailman, all the mail gets put in there, you close it, all the junk mail gets shredded.
Really? Well, how do you tell the junk mail from the good mail?
Well, you really don't.
So it's just a shredder?
Pretty much.
There's some bugs to work out of that thing.
Yeah, but I don't get any junk mail.
What a great way to take care of the bills.
Yeah.
But you're wrong. It is actually for traveling. We all travel a lot, and you get one bag.
Sure. Yeah.
You would take another bag.
Big money.
Yeah, costs you money.
So it's about compacting all the stuff you can in that one bag, and that's what this is.
Little vacuum packer?
It shrinks all your clothing down and packs it really tight. Now, when this is done with my clothes, I can actually take it in what normally would fit in a bag like this. Now I can fit in here.
Do you see the issues? I mean, that's small.
It's half the size.
Well, there's an engine and wheels and
Right,
things
some
to
bugs
work out with this.
All right. All right, guys. We are all living and dying by our smartphones these days, right? You want to watch a movie. Look, I'm getting to the point I can't see, I can't hear, I can just about only smell.
Oh, you can smell.
You don't smell so good.
So
pal.
this is the newest thing, the iBig. They call it the Grande.
No, Vente.
Whatever they call it. So with this thing, say you want to watch a movie like War and Peace or Ishtar.
Oh, good
what would
one.
what would you rather see it on? This or this?
Actually, neither. All right, guys. This is here. Richard, plug this in for me. Make yourself useful, would you? This is actually.
You see the plug right?
Yeah, I get it.
Seriously, this is an electric dustpan. Now imagine you're in the kitchen, you put this in a corner, and you leave it plugged in all the time. Okay, so you're sweeping up right here, and let's say you've got some insulation mixed in with the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Now watch this. You push it in, and it turns on automatically. Sucks it up.
Now, that's a must-have.
Turns off automatically, too. Wish you had that feature. Tommy, no homeowner wants to hear that they have got mold. It can be very disconcerting.
Mold can be a real problem, and it can grow in any area that's wet, like a damp basement or a bathroom, or even on the underside of your sheathing in an attic. You go up in your attic and you start to see little gray spots or even black spots or even patches. That can be a problem. Mold will grow fast. I've seen it cover the entire side of the underside of a roof. It can be a real health problem.
So, if you've got mold, you've got to get rid of it, and you've got to keep it from coming back.
Well, Audrey, you definitely have mold in your attic, and we're going to get rid of it today.
Sounds good.
Now, mold forms because in the wintertime, your house is heated with warm air, and that warm air is swollen with moisture.
Yep.
Now, that warm, moist air comes up through the attic floor and gets into the cold attic.
All right.
Now, it still has a lot of moisture in it. Now, the underside of your roof sheathing is really cold. When that warm, moist air hits that cold sheathing, it condenses and frost will form.
And I've seen that. I've seen it on the underside of the roof, and I've seen it on the nails.
Right. And so now, when the plywood is wet and when conditions are right, the mold will start to grow.
Okay, well then how come I don't see it on the south side of the house?
The south side gets more sun, so the plywood is drier. It'll stay drier from the heat of the sun.
Okay, so how do we prevent it from, once we get rid of it, how do we prevent it from coming back?
Well, I see a few things up here that need to get corrected.
Okay.
The first thing that I see is your insulation. You don't have enough of it. You've got maybe 6 or 7 inches of insulation. If you're lucky, you've got an R25. Now, I'd like to see you put more insulation, unfaced insulation, on top of your existing insulation. 8 to 10 inches. You want to have a minimum of an R38.
That's quite a big difference from now.
Well, it'll make a big difference.
Okay.
The other big problem you have here is the ventilation. Let me show you what you have.
All right.
First of all, you have a ridge vent, and the ridge vent goes right across the entire length of the house. On each side of your ridge, there's an 1.5 inch slot cut. The slot is covered with a vent strip on top of it. All right? Now, on the soffit, you should have a continuous soffit vent cut across the front and the back of the house, and that needs to be 1.5 inches to 2 inches wide also. Now, what happens is that warm air at the ridge is pulled out of the attic. When it pulls out of the attic, it pulls the cooler air from the soffit into the attic, keeping the attic cooler and drier.
Okay.
All right? So you want to make sure that none of these soffit vents are blocked because you want air to come in there all the time.
That makes sense.
But your system isn't working the way that it's designed.
All right.
Now, I look along the eave across the back of the house and the front of the house, and I see that some of the eaves are blocked.
Okay, yeah.
There's a piece of fiberglass insulation right here in this bay that's blocking most of the air, so it can't get into the attic.
I see it.
I also see that some of the baffle systems, now these baffle systems are designed to go in between the joist, out into the soffit, so that the air from the soffit can come up into the attic. Some of them are compressed, and if they're compressed, the air can't get up into the attic.
All right.
So what you need to do is you need to pull these out and make sure that they're not compressed and get rid of any of the insulation that's blocking those bays.
Okay, that can be done.
All right. Now, there's one other thing. This gable vent right here.
All right.
Now, you might think that this gable vent is actually helping the attic by putting more ventilation into it.
That's why we put it in.
Okay, but what it's doing is it's actually interrupting this system. The ridge vent is meant to take the warm air that's up at the ridge all along the house and pull it. And when it pulls the air out, it pulls the cool air from the soffit into the attic evenly across the attic. When you introduce a gable vent, you interrupt the system. Now, the ridge vent will take the path of least resistance. That's the gable vent. So it now pulls the air from the gable vent into the ridge, lessening the amount of air that's coming up into the soffit.
Oh.
All right, so
okay.
what you need to do is block up your gable vents.
Okay, well, is there anything else I need to do?
There is one more thing. Let me show you right over here.
All right.
All right, you see this silver pipe over here?
I do.
All right, well, this pipe is connected to this fan right here that's in your bathroom. And when you turn that fan on, all that warm air is taken out and goes through the pipe. And this pipe is actually laying right into your soffit. It's not even connected.
Well, that's not going to work then.
It's not going to work. But think about it. Even if this pipe was connected, it still wouldn't work right. The warm air would go into the soffit below. The warm air would rise and get drawn right back into the attic.
Okay.
What I like to do is take an insulated piece of ductwork, run it over to the gable end, or run it directly out through the roof, not into the soffit.
All right.
Okay? Now, if you do everything that I told you, you're not going to get any more mold. But our job today is to get rid of the existing mold. To do that, I brought in a special crew.
Sounds good.
So, Ron, your team is going to be removing all of this mold on the underside of the roof. How are you going to do it?
Well, we're going to blast it off with this gun.
This looks like a pressure washer gun. So, water or sand?
Actually, dry ice.
Dry ice. How's that work?
Well, we use this pelletized dry ice. It's about 110 degrees below zero, so I got to wear a glove to touch it. Comes out of the gun at such a high speed, and then it explodes into a vapor. That energy blows the mold right off the sheathing.
Wow, is it messy?
Not really, it's pretty clean, but it does create some dust.
I see. Well, that's why you got a lot of plastic down, but also that explains the negative air machine here. This negative air machine probably will take that dust through the filter into the HEPA filter, cleaning the air so when it exits the building to the gable vent, it will exit as clean air.
Right.
Seems like a pretty complicated process. How long does it take?
Well, a lot of our time is spent just preparing the area here to make sure that we don't let the mold dust back down into the living space. Once that's done and we're all ready to go, it moves right along.
All right, well, we'll get out of here so you can get started.
Those dry ice pellets are coming out of that nozzle at about 1,000 miles an hour, so there's a lot of energy up there.
1,000 miles an hour?
Like, there's so much energy between the impact and the thermal shock. It profiles the wood just a little bit. When those pellets turn into vapor, they go right from a pellet to a vapor. That energy actually blows the mold right off of the sheathing.
Well, I'm surprised because I actually thought that we would see a lot more dust, but I don't see much dust.
No, really, all you're seeing is the mold spores that are being blown off. You see a little vapor, that's the carbon dioxide getting put back into the air.
Most of the mold gets sucked up by the air cleaner and is trapped by the filter. The rest of the mold falls on the plastic on the floor and is cleaned up at the end.
Right? When you see the bright wood looking back at you, there's no more black, there's no more shadowing. The mold is gone, the roots are gone.
It looks pretty good to me, almost new.
Right?
And that won't come back again.
No. That won't come back as long as they fix the ventilation issues and the insulation issues so that there's no more moisture buildup up there.
Boy, Ron, that ice blasting really cleaned the mold off the underside of that plywood right here in this section. It almost looks brand new.
Yeah, it does a really great job. The mold's all gone. We have a little more blasting to do, but when we're all finished with that, we're going to coat everything up here, just to be sure, with a mold-inhibiting coating. The rafters, the sheathing, in case there are any roots or any mold that we might have missed, it won't grow back again.
Wow, that's great. What do you think, Audrey? Looks pretty good, huh?
I can't believe how clean it looks. Looks wonderful.
Well, remember now, this mold won't come back as
Yep.
long as you do everything I told you to do.
I intend to have everything done the way you told me to do.
Okay.
And I'm really thankful to both of you for helping me out.
Well, it was our pleasure.
Tom, that dry ice is truly amazing.
It is. It's a very clean way to remove mold and even paint. Think about it. If you went in with a sandblaster and tried to remove it, you'd not only have to clean up the mold, but you'd have to clean up the sand.
I tell you, in so many ways, this dry ice is really cool.
I love dry ice.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I use it all the time.
For what?
Mad scientist. Bucket of water, dry ice, and
Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Dr. Frankenstein.
until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Richard.
I'm Tom Silva.
And I'm Roger Cook.
For Ask This Old House.
You've gone crazy.
It's cold. Next time, Ask This Old House.
I'm going to show you how to quiet a squeaky wood floor.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm going to set a trap for a homeowner in Georgia.
You could imagine after washing dishes that there'd be little bits of grease and
The little oogly
food
booglies?
particles. Yeah, it's
All
nasty.
right, let's see what you got.
And we'll ask, what is it? It has a clear plastic door on the top and a knob.
Okay, I know this one.
Next time, ask this old house.